Yeah, me know, said the pain and the stress in your life make things feel hopeless. But that's because you're not perfect. That no means that you're worthless. Hey, keep your eyes on the prize. Everything at just time, just keep on working. Just because you're not perfect, that no means that you're worthless. Worthless, hold your head up high. Never sacrifice yourself, you get ahead in life. Me know sometimes it gets so rough and you feel terrified. Just hold it out because it's better on the other side. Me know you're feeling down, me see a bag of pain in your eyes. As get a youth, we have to make it, there's no other choice. When I'm free, also life is satisfy me appetite. Grabbing a barrel of the explanation of your life. Sometimes I feel free die just so me can go get fit off the cry. The pain and the stress in your life make things feel hopeless. But that's because you're not perfect. That no means that you're worthless. Hey, keep your eyes on the prize. Everything at just time, just keep on working. Just because you're not perfect, that no means that you're worthless. Worthless. I work so hard for everything I want. Sometimes I sit in the dark just to reflect on my past. Might show your love, but me not trust no man. You know the amount of time when them done did me wrong. Me feel fi die, but then me turn to God. Them tell me you too strong, you know fi fear no man.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 22nd day of March in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana is now expected to receive just 24% of the promised 100,000 doses of the coronavirus vaccine through the COVAX initiative, which falls under the World Health Organization and other international groups. Initially, Guyana was informed by COVAX that it would be supplying the country with 100,000 doses of the vaccine as a first tranche. A worried Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, announced today that COVAX has since informed the government that it will be reducing that promised supply to just over 24,000 doses.
As you also know, that we were expecting from COVAX to get vaccines. They initially promised us to give to Guyana vaccines for 20% of our population in this year. We received a letter from them about a month and a half ago where they promised to send as a first tranche 100,800 vaccines or doses of vaccines. That they then revised that total to that they would be sending within the month 33,000 doses of vaccine. And today I actually received another letter to say that within the next 3 weeks that we can expect 24,000 doses of the vaccine. And they have not only done this to Guyana, they have done this to Suriname and to some of the other Caribbean countries where they have constantly reduced the amount of the allocation to these countries.
Dr. Anthony said plans were already being made to ensure certain segments of the population receive the vaccines. But with the reduction, the government will now have to continue to look for alternative sources.
We are expecting and we were planning to utilize those doses to get to certain segments of our population. And when that is reduced, we then have to look for alternative arrangements. And so far, all the vaccines that we have been using are because we have gone to other bilateral arrangements to be able to secure those vaccines for our citizens.
The health minister said the vaccination drive with the vaccines already received from India and China is going well, with more than 15,000 persons already vaccinated. Next week, the country is to begin receiving vaccines from Russia. Those vaccines are expected to be used to further push the national vaccination drive.
And we'll continue to do that. In a lot of cases, we'll have to buy these vaccines and make sure that we have vaccines for our citizens. So that's what we're planning to do. So when we get vaccines, and we're expecting another set next week, when we get that, we'll look at reducing the age And we are also going to look at other frontline workers, and therefore for school teachers, we'll want to also make sure that they're prioritized.
Several small countries have complained about their inability to receive vaccines as the larger and richer countries buy up supplies. In many of those cases, they buy up more vaccines than their population might ever be able to use. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
Weathered every storm.
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
That gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class or religion.
We are
one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Go spread the word in your area. We gonna end Filaria.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as Filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana. So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams from the Ministry of Health as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out. TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Hello, my name is Colin Crowell, the Minister of Housing and Water. I drank the Filaria tablets, and so should you.
Due to the impacts of the global pandemic, COVID-19 across our nation, essential organizations like us have chosen to adopt innovative approaches to meet the emerging needs of our customers while protecting our employees. Here are some quick tips to make managing your GPL bill easier while we practice social distancing. To register for electronic billing, you can use the e-billing tab on your website. To access your bill balance, you can use 4 options: the website live chat at gpl.net, the online inquiry on our website under billing, SMS Freedom by texting your GPL reference number to 624-0400 or 608-8400, or call our call center at 226-2600. A message from the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated.
Welcome back. Police investigators are this evening reviewing surveillance camera footage as they try to identify the two men who executed popular biker and gold dealer Ricardo Fagundes, also known as Paper Shorts. The execution took place last evening outside the Palm Court night spot. A video recording of the shooting incident captured by CCTV cameras at Palm Court shows Fagundes coming under a hail of gunfire just as he was crossing the road after leaving the night spot. His assailants appear to have been waiting on him. Fagundes was walking towards a black vehicle when the two gunmen jumped out of a parked white car across the road and opened fire on him. As the injured man fell to the ground, the gunmen ran closer to him while still shooting and stood over him, firing additional shots at close range. The two are then seen hurrying back to the waiting white wagon and speeding off from the scene. The execution occurred just after 9:30 p.m., forcing the night spot to immediately close its doors. Emergency medical services were summoned to the scene, and they pronounced Paper Shorts dead at the scene. Family members broke down in tears at the sight of the body lying motionless on the roadway as they questioned the execution. Now, there are a number of other CCTV cameras outside the club that are monitored by the police. Investigators are also reviewing the video recording of those cameras. Fagundes was a close associate of former convicted drug trafficker Roger Khan and also worked with a number of persons in the gold trade. Back in 2017, he was questioned by the Special Organized Crime Unit as part of a probe into allegations of illegal gold trading by someone he was close to. He was never charged, although his home was searched on a number of occasions by investigators. There were previous attempts on his life, according to close friends. The investigation is ongoing tonight. In the courts, two security guards who were attached to Kaicho News were this morning charged and remanded to jail for murder over the beating death of a 58-year-old homeless man. The two security guards, Jan Licorice and Tony Waldron, were not required to enter a plea to the indictable murder charge when they appeared before the chief magistrate. They are accused of beating Mahabir Singh, which resulted in his death. The security guards were arrested last week after the lifeless body of Singh was found at a Saffron Street location for the newspaper. The two denied any wrongdoing initially, but the post-mortem examination found that the man died from a number of injuries associated with blunt trauma to the head. The body also carried marks of violence that were found to be associated with a beating. Police investigators also reviewed recorded surveillance video from CCTV cameras in the area. The two security guards will remain in jail until their next court appearance in April. The University of Guyana held a virtual graduation ceremony over the weekend with President Irfan Ali telling the 2020 graduating class that the government will be moving to refashion the University of Guyana.
My government has made some commitments to boosting tertiary education. We'll honor those obligations. My government has pledged to refashion the University of Guyana to better respond to the needs of a modern Guyana. We have promised to improve the technological advancement of the university and in so doing to ensure greater access to higher education by making more courses and programs available online.
The president said it is important for the university to be refashioned so that it could be in a better position to respond to the needs of a modern society.
Key element of the national development agenda is the entrenchment of a knowledge-based economy. And as you're aware, such an economy depends and demands on highly skilled human capital and emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning. As such, I urge those of you who have completed your first degrees and will clearly celebrate this milestone as you consider your entry into the world of work or contemplate embarking on new business ventures, to do so with a sure resolve of improving your qualifications.
Noting the importance of nation building to national development, the president also said the country will need more highly skilled persons to meet the demands of a changing local and global economy. As part of the refashioning of the university, moves will be made to make more courses and programs available online and to provide more scholarships. The university has been conducting online lecturing for all of its courses since the start of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Deepa Udit from the Turkine campus, who completed a Bachelor of Science degree in pharmacy and attained a 3.9 GPA, and 36-year-old Savitri Budram from the Tain campus, who completed a Bachelor of Education Administration degree and attained the GPA of 4.0, were adjudged the best students, both receiving the Presidential Medal as valedictorians. Let's tell you now that weeks away from the hearing of the elections petition case number 88, the two petitioners in the case have filed their submissions. The submissions are in response to earlier submissions filed by the Attorney General Anil Nandlal, Vice President Bara Jagdeo, and Chief Election Officer Keith Lowenfield. The petitioners, Claudia Thorne and Heston Bostwick, are asking the court to nullify the results of the March 2020 elections, arguing that Section 22 of the Election Law Amendment Act and Order 60 of 2020 are unconstitutional. The petitioners further argue that the Elections Commission has no power to make or amend the law, thus making Order 60 unconstitutional. Order 60 was the order that paved the way for the recount. Senior counsel Roydale Ford is contending that the court has jurisdiction to nullify the elections. He has argued that there is no requirement for the petitioners to prove that the results have been or may have been affected by any unlawful act or omission. Ford has also argued that it is unheard of for political parties to take part in recounting of elections ballots, as was the case for the 2020 elections. The petitioners are asking that the relief being sought by them be granted, with relation to the 2nd of March elections not being substantially in compliance with the law in relation to the conduct of the elections in their belief. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony is assuring the public tonight that the government is doing all that it can to replace thousands of medications that are in short supply at hospitals and health institutions across the country. At a press conference today, the health minister announced that in the past few months, his ministry has been forced to dump more than $10 billion worth of expired drugs that were sitting on shelves in the government bonds. He said it is clear that there were more drugs bought than were needed, and in other cases the supply chain was not adequately served to reach outlying regions. In total, the Minister of Health said over 300 truckloads of expired drugs were dumped, and the ministry has been making moves to replenish the supply.
In all, when we go back and look at our records, we have found that from 2015 to now, there have been close to $10 billion worth of medicines that had to be thrown away. So this is quite a significant sum of money where we purchased these medicines. They were sitting in the bond, expired there, and nobody benefited from it. So it's really a crisis that we have inherited in terms of medicines and supplies.
The ministry has caused an audit of the entire situation to take place. The health minister said it is a crisis that was inherited, and steps are now being taken to ensure the situation does not repeat itself. Those steps include repairs to the electronic system that is in place to make requests for drugs and supply the drugs to the hospitals.
We have now been able to restore back the electronic medical system that we have there, the pharmaceutical system that we have at the MMU. And so we have updated that so all the records now going forward, we're able to use that now to make timely decisions. So that's one of the first things that were done. The second thing is that we have appointed in every region someone who is responsible for pharmaceutical supplies so that they can check in those regions what are the level of stock and to constantly report that to the MMU so that they sometimes don't have to wait until there's a shortage. There's a threshold that is set, and so once that threshold is met, automatically we will be able to send medicines to that region.
The minister also said in recent months the supply of antiretroviral drugs for HIV patients and drugs for patients undergoing dialysis treatment were affected. He noted that in the case of the dialysis treatment, there was a break in the supply chain that affected the safety of the medication, forcing the authorities to discard the supply. Antiretroviral drugs for HIV patients are currently being sought to ensure that the supply is adequate moving forward.
Diana, we've been through it all.
but as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
You taste the cheese, you hear the crunch. Grab a zoomers and zoom into fun. And with the first taste, you feel like you don't want it done. Blast off to a whole new place with every single bite. The cheesy goodness bring your taste buds alive. So let's just zoom into fun with this wheel-shaped light. Zoomers, zoomers, zoom into fun.
Try, Fina. How you could get yarning on today's pension day?
I collect my pension and went to the market since the 23rd.
How you mean?
I tell you, Levy switched to lodgement. Since me last book finished, I switched.
You joined up a lodge? Was this lodgement?
Oh, the NIS lodgement system allows pensioners to get their pension into their bank account. The money is paid into the account by the 23rd of the month, so you could withdraw it whenever you like.
So wait, I ain't got to join no long line. Why you ain't tell me before?
Told you clear. When you go to submit your life certificate, ask them for the allotment application form. When you complete it and the bank verify it, then NIS is going to process it. After they process it, your money will be in your account.
Well, all right, I join them now.
And don't forget, when you're carrying your life certificate, ask them for the lodgement application form.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Just had my Filaria tablets, and I would recommend that everybody gets their Filaria tablets because you definitely don't want to get Filaria 20 years from now.
Farfan and Mendez Group of Companies are committed to promoting development through quality service and integrity. We offer our customers genuine products, reliable
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as Filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana. So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams, but in the Ministry of Health, as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out, TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Across the region right now, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown has written to U.S. President Joe Biden requesting that CARICOM countries be included in the provision of the AstraZeneca vaccines to Canada and Mexico. Pointing out that the Caribbean is the third border of the United States, Brown argued that as the safety of the U.S. would be imperiled if Canada and Mexico are not inoculated to achieve herd immunity, similarly the U.S. would remain at risk if CARICOM countries are neglected. The Prime Minister explained to Mr. Biden that the Caribbean region is among the worst affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Consequently, he said the economies have experienced shrinkage of up to 30%. Unemployment has risen to over 50% in some cases. Poverty has expanded everywhere, and the revenues have declined in the region, forcing the region to increase debt, which they have to incur at high rates of interest. The Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda also stated that the vulnerability of states must become an important criterion in the provision of vaccines, and the Caribbean region is among the most vulnerable in the world. Describing the economic impact of the pandemic as overwhelming, Prime Minister Brown said many Caribbean countries are in danger of collapsing from a massive economic sclerosis. U.S. trial of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine are out and confirmed that the shot is both safe and highly effective. More than 32,000 volunteers took part, mostly in America, but also in Chile and Peru. The vaccine was 79% effective at stopping symptomatic COVID disease and 100% effective at preventing people from falling seriously ill. And there were no safety issues regarding blood clots. That should further reassure some EU countries that recently paused rollout of the vaccine amid concerns about the possible link. Some are already starting to use the vaccine again, now that Europe's medicines regulator has completed its own review and has also concluded that the vaccine is safe and effective. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Stay safe